Well, a very good morning and welcome to day 3, the final day of competition at the Abu Dhabi Grand Slam. We've got 5 weight categories to bring you on this last day. 3 men, 2 women. The 3 men's weight categories are the heaviest weight categories. That's under 90, under 100 and plus 100. And the 2 women's weight categories, the under 78 and the plus 78 kilo categories. We're just going to take a quick run through and have a look at the top 4 players in each of those weight categories, and we'll start with the under 90 kilo category. The number 1 seed there is Alexander Kukol of Serbia. He was second at the Grand Slam in Baku a couple of months ago, so he's in good form, as is Axel Clerget of France. He is the number 2 seed. The number 3 seed is Piotr Kutsera of Poland, and the number 4 seed is Eduardo Bettoni of Brazil. I seem to remember that Bettoni was the fighter who had that 4 second, with only 4 seconds left, he had a win, and I'll come back to that a little bit later on, because we're going to be taking a good look at the under 90 kilo category. In the under 100 kilo category, the number 1 seed is the former world champion from Azerbaijan, Elkan Mammadov. He won the world championships in 2013. The number 2 seed should have been Rafael Buzzaccarini, but he's had to withdraw due to injury, so there's no Buzzaccarini. The number 3 seed, we have another Brazilian, however, and that's the number 3 seed, the former world champion from 2007, Luciano Carrera. He also picked up a bronze medal at the World Championships in 2005, so it's been a while since he's seen that kind of form. And the number 4 seed is Zlatko Kumric of Croatia. In the heavyweights, Daniel Natia is the number 1 seed. The Romanian takes the number 1 spot here. David Mura of Brazil is the number 2 seed. The number 3 seed is Alexander Vakhaviak of Belarus. And the number 4 seed is Zoslan Bostanov of Russia. Right, that's the men. Let's take a look at the women. A talking point a couple of minutes ago with a few of the people around me was the number 1 seed, Husha Steenhuis of the Netherlands, and whether the Dutch should have sent Steenhuis instead of Martin de Verkerk to the Olympic Games. My initial feeling was yes, and I haven't really moved from that. But what I have to say in defence of the Dutch having made that decision, and in defence of Martin de Verkerk, was she put up an incredible battle in the opening round. She lost to the Cuban, and it was almost 12 minutes when that fight finished. They went into golden score. So no shame on Martin de Verkerk. She gave an absolutely top draw performance, and it's doubtful whether, given the draw, Steenhuis would have done a great deal different. Still felt that they should have sent Husha. Anyway, that's done and dusted now. The number 2 seed is Madeleine Malonga of France. The number 3 seed is Clara Opateka of Slovenia. And the number 4 seed is Samahawa Kamara of France. Right, the plus 78 kilo category, the last of the categories for the women then. Number 1 seed is my pick for the gold medal in Tokyo. Caroline Weiss of Germany. I'll stick my neck out and say that now. Maria Suelen Alterman of Brazil is the number 2. The number 3 seed is Marina Slutskaya of Belarus. And the number 4 seed is Irina Kinzeska of Ukraine. We're going to start by taking a look at the contests on mat number 2. And the opening contest on mat number 2 features Axel Clerget of France. He's up against Luc Edward Ntsama of Cameroon. Clerget in the white judogi, and Ntsama in blue. Hope I haven't upset anybody by that prediction. Caroline Weiss. Why not? We had Emily Andiol of France winning in Rio. And Caroline Weiss has got 4 years to get herself well prepared for the biggest day in her sporting life. It will be if she makes it there. Now, I mentioned Eduardo Bertoni. I'm absolutely certain that he's the one who threw Ludovic Gobert in the team event. Certain that it was Bertoni. I'll have a little look up and see whether we've got some information on that. See if they've had a head-to-head. There were 4 seconds left in that. Yoko Tomoenagi from Clerget comes up with Yuko. Suckered Nsama into that. Should have felt that one coming, but the movement, well, maybe he's not quite yet accustomed to this level, and Clerget drew him into that and came up with a Yuko. Yeah, they had the team event in Salvador, Bahia a few years back, and during that team event, France faced Brazil, and it was 2-1 to France when Ludovic Gobert stepped up. He could have polished everything off, and he was leading by Wazari with 4 seconds left to go. And I think it was Eduardo Bertoni who then rushed at him, and at that time you could do the bear hug Koso Tagaki, and he rushed at him with 4 seconds left to go through Gobert for ippon. And I think that for me that's the record. Yeah, he grabbed at the leg, and as a result of that he was given hand sokomake. That's Nsama over Clerget. And Clerget just said to him, "You understand the rule, don't you, mate?" Oh well. Right, okay. Slightly unfortunate. He wasn't exactly sure about that rule, so Clerget had to explain it to him, as did the referee, Sławomir Koineczki of Poland. Right, coming up next, we've got Firudin Dadashov of Azerbaijan. He faces Nemanja Majdov of Serbia. Dadashov in the white judogi, Majdov in blue. Dadashov picks up a penalty for passivity. So, the reason I couldn't find the Eduardo Bertoni information was, at the time, he was recorded under the name of Eduardo Silva. That's why it was a little bit tricky to find. Okay, well, I found it now. Eduardo Silva. That's the one. Eduardo Betoni Silva. There's a few of them up there. Eduardo Silva's. Single Shido picked up by Dadashov, but it's the Wazari from Maidov that's weighing heavy in this contest. A little over a minute left to go. Nemanja Maidov still leading by Wazari. Right, we've got Piotr Kucera of Poland down on mat number 2. He's up against David Klamer of the Czech Republic. It's Kucera in the white judogi and Klamer in blue, and he's managed to catch him just on the edge there. Now, the referee just called Mate. He's called Mate, but without giving the score, so we'll see if they decide to give something there. There may be a replay to have a look at, and I think that there'll be a score here. I'm not sure whether you saw that, Neil. Very good afternoon, Neil.
Good afternoon, mate. Good afternoon.
Did you see that one over in the
I didn't,
corner
just
there?
missed it, but I'm right on there now.
I'd be interested to have a look at the replay. My feeling is that action is going to be valid, and they're going to give a score there. He's just waiting for his colleagues to help him out. Yeah, Yuko.
That was a good effort. Yeah, well done for that.
Here it comes.
You did read it.
Yeah, see, he starts it in. There's no problem there. No problem.
No, I think as long as it starts inside, and then if it drifts out, all part of the same movement, even if you take a step or two, then it has to be counted. So it was a good call there from the top table.
I get these notifications from all sorts of people when you get emails and stuff, and I got one from iBooks this morning called Game of Thrones, and for a moment I thought it was your book, because you've got a similar title to your book, haven't you?
It is very similar. Funny you should mention it, and I'm glad that you have mentioned it, actually. I'm very, very glad, because I haven't mentioned it for some time. I don't think I've mentioned it over the first couple of days, did I? Game of Thrones is my new biography, which is out, so it's a good read. It's not just about judo. The first volume that we brought out a little while ago now was more on the judo side, and this one is about the ups and downs since finishing competition, which I think a lot of competitors go through.
Well, it should make a fascinating read, not to be mistaken with a title of a similar sounding.
Yeah, Amazon. You can
get it
purchase
on Amazon,
it on Amazon, and it's there, 1-day delivery.
Now, we had a message also from Lars Hellberg, so good morning to you, and let's hope that your picks for the day will work out for you, because Neil and I just had a chat with 2 Swedish fighters in the corridor, didn't we?
We did. 2 good performances yesterday.
Anna Bernholm and Tommy Macias, didn't we?
Well, Macias, obviously, super performance from him to win the gold medal in a very difficult category as well. And Anna Bernholm, of course, just up to 70 kilograms. So she's just finding her feet, but she had 2 fifth places now. So two times she's been very, very close to getting a medal. One in the Grand Prix just a few weeks ago in Uzbekistan, and of course just yesterday in a Grand Slam. So it's going to happen, I'm sure of it, in her new weight category. I
don't mean to suggest that she didn't look healthy before, because she's always looked healthy, but she's looking rosy at the moment. I just think more comfortable in that weight.
If you're stuck halfway in between a category, or even a little bit further up the category, it can be difficult. So I think that it is important to find your own weight and to stabilise it. Oh, look at that. Beautiful stuff. Uranagi. So was Ari given there, and some people are there going, I'm not so sure that's an Uranagi. That's the Zantaraya turn, but it has been classified as Uranagi from the front.
Yeah, I had a really interesting conversation with Tomasz Kowalski last night, or early this morning. We were into the early hours of the morning discussing the classification of Waza. Would you believe it?
Classification of Waza.
He's
Tachi Waza or Ne Waza?
No, the classification of all Waza. How they go about identifying it, classifying it, and then so that, like you've just said there's a good reason why it's not called some other name, because there's already a name for that technique. This is just a variation of it, and it's when you get that, you understand the core part.
Yeah, I think it's also about the fundamental principles that make up the technique, and I think that's what it's about.
And that's exactly what Tomasz Kowalski was discussing with me in the wee hours of the morning. over a latte.
Excellent. Just thought I'd mention, but Max Stewart there just got through against Dizy of France, and he's through to the quarterfinals now against Bertoni of Brazil,
with whom we just had a chat.
Yeah, he had a beautiful Uchimata, didn't he, to reach that same thing. So that should be a good match as well, because Max Stewart on good form, just off the back of winning the European Cup in Glasgow, and did very, very well there. So he's on good form at the moment.
Bertoni probably thinks that we went over there to try and put him off watching Stuart.
Well, we did.
It worked.
It did.
He was engrossed in conversation with us. But the reason that we were chatting to Eduardo Bertoni Silva was because his name came up yesterday with regard to, and the day before, with regard to the time it score that runs out. It's the closest, the end of the contest, somebody come smack and the clock goes, and I said it was 4 seconds.
Well, I remember you saying to me that you can quicker than 4 seconds.
I haven't seen it.
Supervisor might do it, but
it needs to be seen.
Yeah.
Right, it was Clamet who won over Pito Kutsera in that ding-dong battle. They'd picked up a Yuko as well. He got at the end, but he'd scored, managed to take the contest. We're watching now between Ver Gabor of Hungary and Hannes Konrad of Germany. It's there in the white jersey. Konrad, there's no score yet. They've just gone for Vladimir Vostrikov, the referee in the middle for this one.
We've actually seen big ippons, haven't we?
Already.
90 kilograms. It's just happening all over the place. So some really good ippon judo in the early rounds here in the 90 kilogram category. New matchups as well, which is always good to see. So we've seen a lot of the younger fighters being given their first chance at Grand Prix, Grand Slam tournaments over the last few tournaments. And of course, we mentioned it yesterday and the day before that Brazil have got a very young team in here. The French have got a young team, a lot of fighters here, just fighting for the experience and out here to pick up points, yes, of course, but I think just to get valuable map time in a Grand Slam.
Just to let you know that Rafael Buzzacarini, the number 2 seed in the under 100 kilo categories, had to pull out. He was injured, so we haven't got the number 2 seed. We do have the number 3 seed, his teammate Luciano Correa, who's a double world medalist. He won the World Championships 2007 when they were held in Brazil, but a couple of years before that he took up a bronze medal at the World Championships in Cairo. So he's formed, albeit quite a long time ago, and since then he's been struggling.
That's
really
interesting. Buzzacarini was in the gym with him yesterday, and he had sweat gear on and seemed to be struggling to make the weight. So
okay. In that case,
maybe I was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
You saw probably what you weren't supposed to.
Probably.
Who is it that I can see warming up down there, or at least ready to come on? Joachim Dvaby, the Swedish fighter.
Well, they've got
shaping up at under 100 kilos.
Yeah, I've got to say, they've got a nice little group of fighters, haven't they? He's doing very, very well with them, isn't he?
Yeah.
And, he's pulled them all together, got them all training on a full-time basis, and it's a nice group. And that's what you normally find, isn't it? It's the groups that you have and how closely you pull them together. I had a long conversation with Ilias Iliadis, of course, the great Ilias, and he was saying that about the Georgian team and how closely knit they are, and how, some of them are good trainers, some of them not so as good, and don't like the training so much, but they are a very close-knit group. And it makes a difference. Slovenian team as well, look at that. Look at the success they have.
Well, on the same sort of topic, you mentioned about the team from Wolverhampton back in the 80s. They were a close-knit group. And
well, exactly. I mean, Mac and Dave did an amazing job there with this group and brought them all together. And look at the success that they had with...
Despite the fact that they had the full range of weights, right from 60 kilos, John Swatman, up to Elvis Gordon.
It really was an amazing group and amazing success. Again, with small groups pulling them together.
Yeah, Joachim Dvabi has moved up from the 90 to under 100. He competed the Masters in Guadalajara at under 90 kilos, where he lost out to the aforementioned Iliadis. He got dumped out in the first round there, and after that he went up to under 100 kilos. He had a run out.
Oh, Sakeshi. Oh. So a nice Sakeshi then, Red. And well, the Hungarian was down. I was just about to say, actually, he got given a Shido, kind of changed the whole run of the contest, and then Ver of Hungary had to open up. He opened up with an Uchimata. It was opposite, so right against left, and so Conrad just sidesteps him, and Uchimata Sakeshi for a full point.
Just going to ask you, now that we've mentioned that a third time, look, you know, you've got the clock there. Minute 27 left to go. There was nothing on the board. Votrikov calls Mate, gives a Shido. Everything changes. Bang.
It does. I mean,
I think we saw it twice yesterday.
Yeah, we did.
And we pointed it out. We saw it again here.
And I have to say that we've seen it work positively as in that particular case. And we've seen it work in a negative fashion when they've given it for the wrong reasons, or what we thought were the wrong reasons as well. So, I mean, it can work both ways, and of course that depends on the referee.
Well, you've got that nice catchphrase, something's going to happen, and maybe they've got another catchphrase, something's got to happen.
Yeah. And especially in the last minute, but that's another discussion, isn't it? You know, we know that, you know, the running away in the last minute, and somebody was just talking about it now. It's going to be a big topic of conversation at the Congress over the next 2 days, Monday and Tuesday.
Right. Joachim Dvabi has got a fight to look as though he could make 100 kilos.
Here, and well, CNA, I'll be close with that. I suspect that Mania of Africa not of anybody Dvabi for.
We've got Husha Steenhuis of the Netherlands coming up on mat number 1 against Bridget Rose of the Seychelles. We'll stick here and have a look and see what Dvabi comes up with, because we've got Anton Brachev of Russia and Mircea Crotoru of Romania after that. We'll have a look at that. Madeleine Malonga of France, and then Anastasia Turchin in well, what effectively is round 2. They both had buys into that. That'd be a good contest. Clara Apotheker and Anna Maria Wagner as well. So it's going to be a busy time down here.
Dvabi just got a Yuko just given to him there. I'm not quite sure what it was for, whether it was for the Sumageshi there that he did. But I suspect that once he just gets his balance here, it's funny, isn't it, how you fight certain people that you're not used to fighting, probably not of the level, and of course they don't react in the same way or in the way that you want them to react. So he'll need to just settle himself down here, and then it'll happen. Almost gets taken back there, didn't he?
He was falling. It looked as though he was looking to catch his balance, and lucky he didn't get hold of the leg there.
Well, we did see a bad one, didn't we, yesterday?
Yeah, that was
a little leg grab.
Down on mat number 1, you've got Sama Hawaka of France in the under 78 kilos. She's up against Samantha Suarez of Brazil. But I say we're gonna stick here.
Yeah, stay with this one, because I think let's see a big technique as soon as he finds the balance here. It might be the Uchimata.
Still just the Yuko on the board for Dvabi.
Yeah, it's all over the place at the moment. He can't settle at all. Is he going to do the turn? He might just do the turn into the Osai Komi here.
Yeah.
And he does. So, best way to finish it sometimes when your standing work is not quite coordinated or somebody's not reacting in the right way. But nice turnover from Dvabi, ties him up. Be glad when this is over, he will. So the clock ticks up on the board, and it goes all the way through the scores. A Yuko, a Wazari, and an ippon. A Yuko for the 10 seconds, Wazari for 15, and of course the ippon for 20.
Well, you can see the fighters down at the far end of the competition hall lined up, ready to come in. Once Dvabi and Mania leave the mat, we'll have the next pair, and that'll be Anton Brashev of Russia to face Mircea Croitoru of Romania. Right, who have we got coming up next then? Brashev in the white judogi, Croitoru in blue. I think this is going to be finely balanced here.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting one. Plus 100 kilograms, of course. We're all looking for somebody just to, aren't we? Fight the big,
Yeah, exactly.
the big man, Teddy Riner. We're all looking for the up-and-coming talent, somebody who can do it. We do suspect that he's going to come back for the next Olympic Games, but I don't think it will be for 12 months. I really don't. I think he'll take a bit of time out, and then we'll see his return. And I have said it a couple of times. Oh, that's a nice sodi there. Well, he gets an ippon for that. Not so sure about that. I thought maybe it was Ari, but it was a lovely sodi sura komigoshi right the way underneath.
Oh. Yeah, it took a little bit of time to develop, didn't it? You know,
it was a roll for me. It was a roll, and I think he's going to change it.
Well done, Neil. They'll be having you out in the middle soon. Yeah, it wasn't, blank flat on his back.
Well, and again, we've got to differentiate. We have to differentiate, and that's the whole idea. And I think in this 2 days that are going to come up where we're going to be discussing the rules, I think every referee on the planet has got to have the distinction between what is a yuko, wazari, and an ippon clearly in their head. And it doesn't matter at what level, because otherwise we haven't got the scores, have we? I mean, it's like each play, isn't it? If you just certain people drift out and then drift back in, then it's not a rule, So it's how we play the rule will depend on eventually how we develop the techniques to cope with those rules. Rules determine direction and development.
Brashev will be mortified if Croitoru comes and throws him now. Can you imagine?
Yeah, he will.
Well, he's caught him well once. He wrapped the sleeves up really well, and he's looking dangerous. So,
well, of course, we're saying about the heavyweight division, who is there? He can probably take 2 years out, come back and still do it, but there's somebody else in there, isn't there? At minus 100 kilos, just gone up, and might just cause a little bit of a ripple there. And I know that...
what do you think the best thing to do is? Let him run for a bit and, give him, 9, 10 months, free of Reneur's presence, or just wait until he arrives, right away and be there and smack him?
My own opinion is that if they let him settle, then he's got problems, right? So he can't let him settle too much, because let him settle into the category, start to work his way ahead of the rest, then he might have a problem with it.
I suppose there's also the argument that it's not just a 2-horse race, because even if Riner is out and he's taking a rest and he's having a look, he'll still have to fight Harasawa and various people who may test him and may, dump him.
Wow, another beauty there, yeah, the Russian, absolutely. Brashev there, just whacked him for another one there. This time a Koso to Gak, Wazari Wazeti upon, and it's all over.
Brashev was slow to get to his feet, having thrown, executed the technique, but maybe he just caught himself in an awkward position.
I think people who are listening are thinking, the ones out there that are thinking, who are they talking about?
Oh yeah, we haven't mentioned
about
it.
Kapalik, of course, who is the Olympic champion at minus 100 kilograms, has gone up definitely. He says he's done everything in the minus 100 kilos
And he has,
category.
world champion,
he
Olympic
has, world and
champion.
Olympic champion. And he says, well, I'll have a little
Dig,
crack.
yeah.
Well, he has had one time out in the heavyweights, and he cleaned up on that particular occasion.
Looked good,
With
yeah.
the rest. He looked good. But again, like I say, if he establishes himself, could be trouble. Interesting.
Madeleine Malonga of France faces Anastasia Turchin of Ukraine. It's Malonga in the white judogi, Turchin in blue. Two of my favourite young fighters in this weight category go head-to-head right away. And we've got another one coming up in this, Anna Maria Wagner. She'll face Clara Apoteca. That'll be a tough battle. It's a nice weight category, this one today, under 78.
I think what I like about the French fighters, they've got a few, haven't they, the same stamp, and tall, rangy, good judo, stand-up judo, positive with the gripping, and they seem to have the same kind of style. Of course, from a tactical point of view, Sheldon, they always have good tactics. They know the game. They know how to play it. They're always stealers of matches, aren't they? They steal matches.
I suppose if we looked at the complete package as being made up of, of various parts, those parts have got specific expertise in France, and that expertise gets, packaged into that one person.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's what it is. It's a package. It is a package, and they keep producing these people of the same stamp, and it's apparent.
Well prepared.
They're all well prepared. They have good physical condition. They've got 150, 200 people on the mat every single day, so they're going to be well prepared. They're going to have enough judo, enough randori. And of course, from an educational point of view, which I think is a massive plus, they have that running with it as well. It's not just, what do I do next?
Malonga's picked up a single Shido, but there's plenty of time left on the board. Turchin, I think, was junior European champion a couple of times. Hasn't quite reproduce that at senior level yet. The other thing that makes it difficult for her is that she's not the only one in the weight category from that country. She's got quite a strong rival for that under 78 kilo spot, so she's got to even get past the home talent first.
Like we said yesterday, it's important for them, certainly if they have somebody else there in their weight category from home. So it's important for them to perform, of course.
It was Victoria Turks who got the nod over Anastasia Turchin. They're both up and around, number 20 or thereabouts in the world ranking list. But Turks heads her. So
Uchimata. That's going to be a Yuko for sure. So Malonga will go ahead. Nice Uchimata. She was looking for it all the time. Just needed to get the angle in. Well, we've mentioned quite a few teams. The Azerbaijan team as well is a young team, isn't it? They've put a lot of new fighters out there as well.
Just talking about Azerbaijan, and Safguliev of Azerbaijan in the under 90 category has just thrown the number 1 seed, Alexander. Oh, it's the other way around. I thought that was a surprise because he'd thrown him for Wazari. Alexander Kukol had thrown him for Wazari. And then a bit of confusion with the scores down there. Anyway, Kukol is the winner, having thrown Safguliev. Because I was going to say that was a big surprise.
Yeah, you already had a Wazari there, and then just followed it through with the finished it.
Kukol
all done
into the first of the semi-finals. He was going to face the winner of the upcoming contest, and we're going to go down there to have a look at that in a minute. We'll just stay with Malonga and Turchin until Eduardo Bertoni gets down ace. Max Stewart, the second of the finals. The winner will face Kukol in the first semi-final. Single U is the for Malone. She was at a disadvantage having picked up Shido. She leads now. She's the one with score on the board. Touching with a bit of a job to do. We'll keep an eye on this one. We'll go over to number one. Let's take a look at the quarterfinals. Eduardo Bertoni of Brazil in the white jersey faces Max Stewart of Great Britain in blue. And here's Neil Adams.
Well, just enjoying a run of form, Max Stewart. Starting to establish himself in the category and also at the level. Nice ippon in the first round. Of course, his father, Olympic bronze medalist Dennis, a teammate of mine in the 1988 Olympic Games. There's a big thud on the other man there. Malonga just throwing for ippon.
Yeah, I was going to mention early on when I said about Turchin having won the Junior European Championship a couple of times and she hasn't quite at senior level. One of the things that she hasn't been able to do is strengthen her defence. She, often goes over, and when she goes over, it's big. They catch her and she gets banged over. So something that she's going to. Well, it's not something you can work on. It's just.
You try on your defence. The defence obviously still important, but for her, like you say, something to work on. So Max Stewart, big arm over the top, and he is dominating on the grips. No score so far, and Bertoni has a good Uchimata himself. So it's Uchimata against Uchimata, right against right. So a good match this. It's fairly evens so far. 2 minutes gone. 5-minute contest, of course. This one to reach the semi-finals. Good gripping skills from Max Stewart. Look at that. Just readjusting the sleeve so that he dominates the sleeve. But the same thing happening there with Bertoni, and Bertoni trying for the Uchimata. Some good combinations there. Just walked out the area there, Bertoni. That could possibly be a Shido. I think it was a Shido. Yeah, a little bit of guiding, I think, from Max Stewart. But I we talked about that, didn't we? A bit of guiding is okay. Pushing isn't. Yeah, with the chest. We're going through the motions here.
But he's got to stand up stronger to that. A little bit of pressure, I think, is with acceptable. A straight and out push will no. But you put some pressure on the edge, you've got to come back with something.
Yeah, I mean there is a difference between being pushed out and guiding somebody out.
And Stuart just gave that little bit of guidance.
Good guidance.
But Tony never, to his credit, he never complained about it. He realised, should have stood up a bit stronger there.
Well, again, that's why we've got to be strong on the edge. You have to know that you've got to turn. You can turn a metre from the edge of that area there.
Don't go there.
Yeah, just don't go. We used to have the red area, the 1 metre red area. That was our danger area. So we can still play that. Max Stewart trying for the Jujigatami. Now, can he get it? Yes, he can. The arm was there, almost. A little bit of panic there, wasn't there?
The nice thing about that is once Bertoni had escaped from Max's effort, he was quickly, interested in staying down there. So that's a nice sign. They both fancy their chances on the ground.
Yeah, a little bit of panic now going on here from Bertoni and change of pace. So he's starting to up the ante.
He's the fighter at the disadvantage, having picked up that single Shido. Stewart was momentarily in a strong position for that right-sided Uchimata, but the hand slipped off. Oh, that was a nice effort from Bertoni. He moved quickly in there. Almost caught Max flat-footed.
Yeah, well, he certainly can't afford to change the game in any possible way here, Stuart. He's got to stay attacking all the time.
Nice battle going on mat number 2 as well. Klára Apateka and Anna Maria Wagner, the Slovenian, is at a disadvantage down there. She's picked up a Shido. The two scoreboards are almost identical.
Oh, that was close. Chigari there from Bertoni. Just managed to turn, Stuart. Now he's got to take the initiative. He has to now make sure that he attacks first. It's very close. Can't afford to pick up another Shido or a Shido, Stuart. If he does, it'll all be evens. It'll go to golden score.
Just got the feeling that Bertoni has stepped it up a little bit, hasn't he?
Yeah, that was a good Sianagi, and got to be careful with the Tomai. It's not the time for Tomanagi. 24 seconds to go. Gets away with it.
Dodged that bullet. I suppose it was Bertoni's having to block it that, helped him to avoid picking up a Shido for a force attack.
Well, this is the opportunity now for Max Stewart to take him through to the semi-final.
Done now.
And that was a good bit of progressive there. Was a quick
Just
quick little look. Good effort there. And Max Stewart of Great Britain will go through to the semi-final in this under 90 kilos category.
He's going to blame us, isn't he? Bertoni.
He will. You're the one. He said, come on, we've got to talk to Bertoni there.
Let's go and have a word with him before he goes on with Max.
Who was he looking at? That's it.
Max Stewart, it is, who wins out. He goes into the first of the semi-finals. He'll face the number 1 seed, Alexander Kukov of Serbia. Right, who have we got coming up next then? Elkan Mammadov of Azerbaijan. We're in the under 100 kilo category, the world champion from 2013. He's got his first contest. He had a bye in the first round. He faces now Aybek Sidikbayev of Kazakhstan. Is Mammadov in the white judogi, Sidikbayev in blue.
Struggled for form, hasn't he, Mammadov? He certainly one of these that has absolute brilliance. Great thrower. Look at that, Wazari. Kosoto straight away. Struggles a bit in the second half of a contest, but he is a big thrower.
Just out the corner of my eye, I'm still watching the Klára Apateka Anna Maria Wagner contest down on mat number 2, and Apateka had 2 penalties, rushed at her opponent, and proceeded to push her out in the area in an attempt to get the Shido against her so that the Shidos were then balanced. And the referee said, no, you push her out.
Right. Well, it's good to see that they're on that.
He wasn't going to be mugged, was he?
No, I don't think so. So he has a good variation of forward and Yoko Sotemi Mammadov. And there's the forward technique there. Wazeti upon. Very easy win there for Mammadov in this first contest, and that'll take him straight through to the semi-final.
Yeah. Well, we're going to stay on mat number 1 because the next contest is Zlatko Kumric of Croatia. He faces Jalil Shukurov of Azerbaijan. Kumric in the white judogi, Shukurov in blue.
Yeah, possibility of an all Azira, should I say, semi-final.
Yeah, Shukurov has to squeeze past Kumric first. I think it's going to give him a good battle, I think. Kumric, he's not a bad boy.
Well, one of the biggest advantages of most Grand Prix Grand Slam tournaments, that if you're hosting, that you can put all your 1, 2, 3s and 4s out. You can put 4 in every weight category if you've got the depth, of course. And it doesn't quite work like that here in Abu Dhabi. They've got a young program, so it doesn't work like that. But often if you're in countries like Russia, Azerbaijan, Japan, of course, and France, where they have a lot of depth and they've got strong juniors as well, it enables them to put 1s and 2s, sometimes 3s and 4s, or their top juniors out as well, to fight in major tournaments against major opposition. So great advantage. Expensive, but great advantage. Does work a little bit different here, doesn't it? They've got a good program that they're doing with their men, and they've got a developing one with their ladies. But of course, they've got a long way to go with their ladies program in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, they had a couple out this time round, and I think, you know, it's incredibly small steps for them. I hope that the bronze medal they took at the Olympic Games will not just move them, you know, a step further ahead, but galvanise or catapult them into some real action, because there was a completely different feeling from the crowd yesterday from 2 or 3 or 4 years ago, who gave them sort of a ripple of applause and passing acknowledgement that they had these sort of incomers, because
they were
have
right
to admit
behind
it.
them, weren't
absolutely,
they were right behind them.
They felt it. They were high-fiving. All of the VIPs in there they have bought into this. They in more ways than one, you know, because it's money that's got them here. But what they've done is they've invested their emotions into the fighters. They see past the badge now, and they really do see them as
you
their
were right
own.
when you said it's a relationship. Look at that, Harai Makikomi. I think that was a Wazaria that he rolled almost onto his back there. But a Yuko given. Will they change it? Good score by Kumrich.
Yeah, Frank Dirch gave Yuko, and they're going to stay with that. Yeah, the big screen is showing Matt too, so we won't look at that. No worries. Sorry about that. I sounded almost Australian there when I said no worries. I don't want to give you nightmares. Leave that one. Pass. And now Gumrich picks up a second Shido. He does have the benefit of the score on the board. I wouldn't worry too much at the moment. He's aggressive and, you know, he's a positive fighter, so he's going to be looking for an addition to that. There you go.
It's going to be another score there. Does he get it?
He couldn't quite bring him down onto the side of the body. Again, it was one of those sort of put him on the seat of his pants, didn't he? Couldn't quite get him onto the scoring part of the body. So he failed to pick up a score there. But you see the positive attitude. He's not looking to protect, you know. They have put the Yuko up. So.
Well, he kind of rolled onto it, didn't he?
Took a bit of time, yeah.
It did land on the backside, and then he kind of rolled onto his side.
Neil in the lucky position of having picked up 2 or 3 good ones this morning. He's playing for that badge.
I'm on a roll.
Yeah, you'll see him with a badge next week.
I'm on a roll.
Good one.
Well, left to left, and normally that means a danger because they're both going for the same kind of technique here. 1 minute 15. Kumrich 2 Yukos ahead. He's got 2 Shidos, so he can't afford another Shido. That will put him under pressure. 1 minute 10 seconds. If I was Shukarov, I'd be going right the way back in there.
Yeah, Neil just seen out the corner of his eye my pick at 15 years old for a heavyweight, a potential, Yelisaveta Kalanina of Ukraine. It's sad to say, it's one of the biggest disappointments ever. Incredible potential physically as a presence, for a woman heavyweight. But as far as the judo is concerned, it stopped when she got to first kyu. It never developed beyond that level, which is such a shame, because I thought this is the Teddy Riner of women's judo here. She's gonna be able to do
right
this.
Shape, certainly.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything, right? Athletic. She came from volleyball. It just hasn't been able to increase the judo, increase her judo skills. Anyway, that's happening down on mat number 2. We're going to finish off watching Kumrich and Shakurov. 2 scores on there. And then we've got Natia and Silva coming up next in the plus 100 kilo category. Daniel Natia, the number 1 seed, and João Silva of Brazil.
Yeah, this one's all over. It's not going to be an all Azerbaijan semi-final, and certainly it's going to be Kumrich going through. So it wasn't to be.
Well, let's go down to mat number 2 quickly, just to have a look at the fighter that we were describing, who was off the camera. She's got her back to us at the moment, Yelisaveta Kalanina. She's still got plenty of time. So in the heavyweight division, you can go for longer, as far as longevity and years are concerned. You be 32 or 34 and still, are still up there. And what struck me when I saw her first as a 15, 16-year-old was she was already up at that kind of height. Incredible, she banged him over then as a youngster, and as a junior she was still reasonably in there, but as a senior she's found it extremely difficult to develop her range of waza and the ability to bring off the techniques that were working as a cadet, struggling as a junior, absolutely finding it almost like a brick wall as a senior. She just hasn't been able to get past these sorts of opponents. She's got 3 minutes in her as well, which is a really big problem, because normally when your opponents in the heavyweight division are beginning to crumble at 3 minutes, that's when you should be able to come into your own. That hasn't happened there as well. I know the coach he suffers the same kind of frustration that I do. He's right next to her. I can
hear the frustration.
It is, because you've got, if somebody brought her to your club, you'd say, "I've scored here. What more could I ask for? I've got everything that I want." The only difficulty is you can't do judo.
No. Well, it's certainly something that you can change, and we've just heard a massive ippon there from Natia, the number one seed in the plus 100 kilograms, and he just threw Silva of Brazil.
We were talking about this, just how rarely Natia was able to pull off, the big techniques, and I said to somebody, hey, when Natia throws, they stay stuck, and here it is. You're gonna see it now.
Well, he has got a great okaruma. It is if he decides that he wants to attack, which is a bit of a shame, because he's got great technique, and he's thrown some great people as well. He really has.
Which is exactly what Yelisaveta Kalanina would like to do. Throw some people. No, it's harsh, but I've been to her and spoken to her, not last year or the year before, but years ago, and I laid it out for her. I said, hey, this is yours. This is yours for the taking. I've decided to change my allegiance to Caroline Weiss now of Germany. And I've been in her corner recently. Zoslan Bastanov and Michael Horak have just taken to the mat on mat number 1. Let's go down there and have a look at that. I'm not, being too disparaging to what's happening with Slutska and Kalanina, but it's not really happening at 0-0. So let's go down to mat number 1. It's Bostanov in the white judogi, Horak in blue, and it's the Russian in white and the Czech fighter in blue. Here's Neil.
Well, just remembering that the winner of this is going to go through to fight Natia, so it should be a good one, but a big throw in Natia. And Bostanov, he's got the range for the Uchimata. I always feel that he should be able to score a lot more with it, and he tends to just hook in and then just hotch the support leg more central. Giant of a man. So right against left here, and you can see that Horak just keeping the right arm back. Now, is it going to happen? Makikomi from Horak. So he's going to have to now initiate. So they have the grip, and it's what we were talking about, having good kumakata, and there's the Uchimata. Nice Uchimata there, and at last manages to score with it. So he did exactly what I said, actually, just hotched that support leg just central. Just needs to use the range. Good kumakata, has the grip, throw it in, and this time he does. He'll go through then to the semi-final against Natia of Romania. Let's hope we can have just a quick look at it, back in slow motion. See how he starts the Uchimata off. Well, doesn't look like we're going to get it, but it was a nice Uchimata, nice technique. And we're going to go Brigitte Rose of Seychelles, and she's going to be against Samantha Soares of Brazil. We did see it.
Got his arm down in there, which slightly upset the fluidity of the throw, but the end result was ippon. Now, Rose and Suarez have got a repechage contest. So the quarterfinal on the adjoining mat, on mat number 2.
Over.
Yeah, we're going to go over to mat number 2. Let's take a look at Axel Clerget of France. He's up against Nemanja Majdov of Serbia. I think this is going to be a really nice battle. Clerget is one of the nicest fighters. He's not an absolute purist as far as the judo is concerned, but he does have nice qualities, nice tactics, nice movement.
There's got some nice techniques, hasn't he?
There's a toughness about him as well, and yet he remains one of the nicest fighters on the mat. He's a really, really nice fighter.
Well, he's got a great Yoko Tomoe. Easily stopped there from Majdov. So Clerget has got variation as well, because he has hip techniques as well. He has good Sodi. Good kumakata, and as Sheldon said, he has good tactics as well. And that hardness, he has just got that little bit of fighting spirit in him. Just he gets the bit between his teeth and in he goes. This is the other side of the draw. Cole Stewart on the top half, and this is the bottom half here. Well, that's twice now. He might just get penalised for that. He's twice now without breaking balance. Gets away with it. One Shido each up to these fighters. Majdov Needs to take advantage of that sleeve. Just feeds the sleeve grip in. Well, they're both feeding that sleeve grip in, both looking for the same grips. Strong grips here from both of these fighters.
Sorry about that. Poor old Ukrainian coach was having another heart attack with his heavyweight fighter, Yelisaveta Kalanina. He knows that it's there. He just can't get it past that next hurdle. You know? I suppose winning her over and bringing her from one sport into this was part of the job. Well, he's done that. Getting her reasonably well prepared judo-wise and everything, that was the next stage. And she did the cadets and juniors. It was that falling off in the juniors, and he probably thought, okay, sometimes that that's natural, but we'll come for the next one. It just hasn't happened yet. And I said to him, it's 4 years, It's 4 years. All of these are really, without taking away from, the Grand Slam of Abu Dhabi and everything, this is just preparation. This is just preparation. In 4 years' time, you're not even going to remember this. So it's what you want to achieve with each of the contests that you have when you come onto a stage like this. It's not the be all and end all. It's part of the preparation for your end goal.
Yeah, it is. It's about that. Obviously, 4 years' time. It's the big picture, isn't it?
It's also the ability to, win or lose, whatever it is, to take away the important things that happen during those contests. Mistakes, eradicate them. Good things, maintain or improve on them, if at all possible. And each step of the way, you're doing those things. Getting rid of the things you don't want, improving on the things that you found that work for you. So hard. And now we're finding out that there are limited, she has her limitations. There are some physical limitations because, she's got a particular frame, and whereas it may have worked for volleyball or basketball, judo requires an incredible amount of fluidity and movement. You are not going to pull off stuff like Natia did unless you've got the ability to move and know about shapes and stuff.
Exactly. Nice Kosoto there from Clerget, just straight into the
look at that
Kesa. Yeah, well, it's Makura, isn't it? It's more like Makura. I don't think he's going it far from there. No, just tapping out
he's
now.
He's had enough now, yeah.
And we've got a semi-final happening on mat 1 at the moment. Stenhouse of Netherlands against Kamara of France. Well, I think we should.
You're right, semi-final. Let's go to mat number 1. Husha Steenhuis of the Netherlands faces Samahawa Kamara of France. There's 1:29 left to go. Kamara is the fighter who's picked up the single mark on the board, which is that yellow square there. That's that Shido. So the advantage is with Steenhuis at the moment. So here's Neil.
Yeah, clever fighter, Stenhouse, and just very consistent with her performances. Here she is in another semi-final. Just doing enough attacking here just to keep Kamara out. Kamara won't stop though, she'll keep coming forwards. 1 minute to go in this semi-final. Left-handed fighter, Stenhouse. Oh, Karashiwaza! Nice. He's up. Or was it Sasai? And now just got to waste a bit of time. Almost turned her there into the hold down. 23 seconds left. And watch out for Kamara, because Kamara's going to come 100% in here now. It's going to be a Shido up there, I think, for Stunhouse. Stunhouse went outside of the area then. She just walked out. I don't know why she didn't get a penalty. 2 penalties up there to Kamara. 6 seconds left. Stunhouse definitely on the retreat. That's got to be a penalty, surely. That's what we're talking about here with the edge. So she gets 1. Should have been 2, but anyway. Last 30 seconds of most of the contests here, and you have a totally different pattern. Stunhouse goes through, though, to the final. 2 penalties to 1. Well, it's what they're talking about, the possibility of reducing Shidos to 3 Shidos for Hong Sokomaki. Either that, or they've got to double up, I think, in that last minute. I'd like to see him double up, but I don't know whether that is going to make a big, massive difference. But it certainly will it'll make them think twice about running away too much in that last minute.
Now, I've been going on about Yelisaveta Kalanina. Those of you who've watched a lot of the broadcasts, and maybe there have been a few times when she's been on the mat and you've heard me mention her. Here's another fighter that I'm going to invest some time with, because her judo's different. I'm talking about Caroline Weiss. You see this. This is a different kettle of fish. She would bang Kalanina over. And she has. I mean, she's beaten the best in the world. Yu Song, all of them. It's Weiss in the white judogi, appropriately, because that's what it is in German.
Like you said, I mean, we saw her, didn't we? She beat the 2 top Chinese, didn't she? One after another. And she had the world number 1 in the world and the number 2 in the world. She beat them one after another. So she is capable of doing it.
And then there are times when she does the that old heavyweight trick of looking absolutely lame, motionless, just nothing happens. It for me, it's a shocker. That there are, and I'll tell you who used to do that from time to time. We mentioned him. It was Denzine. Denzine White used to do that. He'd throw the best in the world beautifully, and then he said he just didn't feel it. It's a feeling. You do it when it feels right, and if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's the case with Caroline Weiss, but she can be so detached sometimes, removed from the whole situation, unaware of what the clock is doing, where the scoreboard is, and just wandering around aimlessly. And at other times, just bang, and someone goes over.
Yeah. Well, like you say, it's about feeling a lot of the time. 1 minute gone, neither one of them done anything that would warrant a danger of an attack. Second, this is the semi-final of the plus 78s here. Oh, it's massive. Oh, huge hip throw. Massive hip throw there. And that was beautiful there from Weiss.
You do a highlights reel of Caroline Weiss, and you start thinking, hang on a minute. This is some, real little powerhouse here.
That was really super stuff. Right on the hip there and right the way over.
Really, I love her to bits. I think she was silver medalist at Junior World Championships twice. And both was like, oh, okay, you can have it. What? I would have been going mental.
Well, I'm not sure if we're going to see that back in slow motion. It's a shame that, because it was a beautiful hip throw.
Okay.
Well, we've just got a match up there in the under 100 kilograms there.
Yeah, let's go to mat number 2. We're going to see the contest between Luciano Correa of Brazil. He faces Philip Awiti Alcaraz of Great Britain. It's Correa in the white judogi, Awiti Alcaraz in blue. There's no score yet. Correa has picked up the single Shido. This will be an incredible scalp for Philip, wouldn't it, if you can win this? There's another fighter with, you know, the physique for the weight. Yeah. Good size.
Well, he's beaten some good people as well, hasn't he? Awiti Alcaraz. He's beaten some top draw fighters, and he's beaten them well as well. He's a huge thrower, so he's capable of doing it. Fighting another former world champion here, and he is capable of throwing him.
There's a second Shido. 2 Shidos picked up by Correa. Awiti Alcaraz picks up one himself, but don't worry about that too much now. There's still well over 3 minutes left to go.
Well, I'm surprised actually that Correa, that we've seen him out here, he obviously just wants to dip his toe just to think about whether he's going to do the next 4 years or not. But big arm over the top there from Awiti Alcaraz. He's going to throw the hips up. Here we go. Changes the direction. That was a change to the left-handed Uranagi. So that's his combination. His big Surigoshi on the right, and then he does the Zantaraya Uranagi on the left. Well, halfway through the contest now. Great opportunity. Good to see an Aggie. Awiti Alcaraz. So who went outside the area then?
I don't have any sympathy with, you know, the penalties that Correa's picked up. They've been justified. And with 2 minutes left to go, he's got himself in a difficult position here, because even if he scores, the likelihood is that he's going to backpedal, he'll pick up another one, and then he'll really be up against it. He's brought this on himself.
Well, you find that a lot as well, don't you? That they just lose that little edge to be able to attack, and he just looks a little bit flat. Unable to really put that big attack in. It gets worse as you get older, I tell you, when you're doing randori. Keep telling the legs to do it, but they just don't want to do it, fortunately. So Awiti Alcaraz has to take the initiative here. He's got to start to attack as well. He's going to get a second penalty at any second now.
Yeah, he's struggling there.
Yeah, he's one attack off it. Yeah. He really is. If he doesn't get it now, he's going to get it any second.
We'll just see what happens in the next few seconds here, because there's a semi-final in the under 90 kilo category about to get underway on mat number 1. It features the number 1 seed, Alexander Kukol of Serbia. He's up against Max Stewart of Great Britain. Unusual situation that we've got 2 British fighters on the mat. One on mat 1 and one on mat 2.
That's definitely going to be the Shido now. I don't know how he can possibly get away with not getting a Shido. 53 seconds, he's really struggling there. Well, he just dropped. Awiti Alcaraz just dropped. So it's going to be 2 Shidos, is it?
Yeah, he dodged another bullet.
Well, I don't know how. I just don't. I mean, he literally just dropped. If it had been, you know, the boot on the other foot, Would have been screaming for a Shido for sure. So 33 seconds left. He needs to put the attack in here.
Well, Neil said earlier on, no Tsutemiwaza in the last 40 seconds. That's basically, you know, what you've got to try to avoid to do. It looks so poor, it looks defensive. All you do is you bring the wrath of the referee on top of you, and that's exactly what's happened here.
So it's all evens now, 20 seconds, and he's just gone over for Ippon.
Yeah. He'd gone before, hadn't he?
Yeah,
you know,
you could see it. Yeah. You can absolutely see it. You could.
We don't want to be too harsh on Philip, but we are going to rush down to mat number 1 to have a look at Alexander Kukol and Max Stewart. There's no score yet. There's 3 minutes and 40 seconds left to go, and it was something that Neil was talking about. It's a desperation technique. You have a slim lead. You're trying to do something. You're thinking of coming up with some kind of attack, you know, to keep, 1, the fighter off your back, and 2, the referee from, you know, giving you a penalty. Don't come up with Tsutemiwaza.
No, absolutely.
You haven't got the power left in the last 40 seconds, you know, to break balance and come off with a technique. All you're going to end up doing is dropping, and then it's the easiest thing for the, you know...
Well, from the other side of that, if you're
block.
ahead and you know that they're just about to get a Shido, you just go into defensive mode. You just block it. Yeah. Absolutely. Max Stewart here was just a little bit lucky. He wasn't taken over there by Kukolj. Kukolj came in. And there's a good one from Stewart.
Couldn't come off the other side. It was kind of an afterthought, wasn't it?
Well, I said that he's having a run of great form at the moment, Stewart, against the very rangy Kukolj of Serbia. Uchimata, it's going to be a Yuko. Beautiful Uchimata, wasn't that rangy? Straight the way through the middle there. So now Stewart got to come back.
There's time, 2:40 odd. And it'll be Kukol will be the fighter now who has to dig deep, keep Stewart off, because you know the British fighter is going to be coming at him.
He's almost switched him a couple of times. Goes for it again. Nice combinations here by Kukolj. Starting to climb on top of this match now.
.219 left to go.
Right against left. Uchimata this time from Max Stewart. Kukolj just a quick look up at the clock and decides to do a little bit of newaza every second that he can waste here. Going on to the arm. Trying to tie the top half up to take that leg out. Might just come out as well. Oh, he's going for the arm. And the leg comes out. Osai Komi. So just played too long down in newaza, Max Stewart. Now being held, and he'll have to come back in the repechage. Well, he'll have to come back just fighting directly for third place, but he'll have to come back with another chance of a medal. So a mistake on the ground. Had his arm tied up. That enabled Kukolj to take that leg out and then to hold him down for the 20 seconds.
He's proving a bit of a handful, isn't he, Alexander Kukol? He's right up there. Serb fighter.
A nice bit of judo, wasn't it? A good throw as well. It was a nice uchimata. Stewart still has a chance, though. A medal here in a Grand Slam will be Just right up his street, just exactly what he needs.
Next fight on Test E1, the repertoire from men under 100 kilograms. In white from Kazakhstan, IPIC Arena.
Right, okay, let's see who we got coming up now. IPIC Serikbayev of Kazakhstan faces Jalil Shukurov of Azerbaijan. That's in the under 100 kilo category, but we've got repechage contest. We've got the plus 100 kilo category quarter-final down on mat number 2. Let's go down to have a look at David Moura of Brazil. He's up against Anton Brachev of Russia. It's Moura in the white judogi, Brachev in blue.
I always get the feeling that Moura should be doing more in the heavyweight division. He has good technique, he's got nice, and he's tall as well. He's bigger than you you think when you're next to him. He's a giant of a man, and he has nice movement. Just lacks I think that little bit against some of the top fighters, and makes mistakes. Of course, he had a massive qualification battle to go to the Olympic Games on home soil, and in fact didn't make it in the end. Was you sure who was going to go there?
No.
I think when it comes to Silva and Moura, it was a close one. They had a couple of head-to-heads, and on the head-to-heads, Silva came out the better.
I wasn't entirely convinced, but hey, down to the selectors for Brazil in the end, and they decided to go with the bigger of the two.
Yeah, one penalty on the board to Moura. Moura knows that it's got to be all systems go. 46 seconds. This then to get to the semi-final. Oh, Tominagi. Nice Tominagi as well here.
Brachev is again showing some signs of discomfort from that lower abdominal area.
The very lower abdominal area. Yeah, we don't like that particular area.
He brought that on himself earlier on, that when he threw, he was the one who stood up, and he was in some degree of discomfort. Well, it just happened again. Well, that time you could have blamed Moura, who went straight for the area again.
Well, Moura just wants to get up here, get on with this. 11 seconds to go. The Russian, Brachev.
Yeah, Moura's going to get him here.
It's a mistake.
Yeah.
Look at that. Moura, just in the last 6 seconds there. Did he get it? Oh,
I
no.
thought that was okay.
Mate called.
Brachev was the one who wanted to escape. Moura was still in. He was, as far as I was concerned. I'd have left that.
Moura couldn't catch it up, and we'll have a little look just to see how that unfolded in a second, just to see how that. Oh, succumbing wasn't allowed. I don't quite get it, but anyway. Well, you could say that Moura didn't really get much of a warm-up there. He had a bye right the way through. One match to get to the final. Or to get to the semi-final, should I say.
Brachev steals that one from David Moura. Right, who have we got coming up next? Alexander Vachaviak of Belarus faces Nabil Salah of France. It's Vachaviak in the white judogi, Salah in blue.
Yeah, this will be interesting, won't it? Just to see what what the French are doing for their heavyweight division. Every one of the heavyweights, of course, will have the advantage of being able to train with Teddy Riner. Vahaviak just looking for the control of the upper part of that lapel. Set to go in for the Makikomi any second now. Right against right, and tries the Sasai to sort of Komiyashi. To no avail. Nobody committed yet. Looking for the Makikomi. Vahaviak. Just coming close there with the Oguruma Arai Makikomi. They're both looking for the same technique. Yeah, Zala.
What's he looking at?
Well, he's saying that he touched the leg. I think. I think that's what he's saying. But
well, we'll let you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Nabil,
Stop
don't worry. Yeah.
Let the other guys get on with it.
And the man in the middle knows a bit about refereeing. He'll let you know when it's happened. Mr. Vostrikov.
Yeah, good Ouchi this time from Zala. Oh, it's going to be it. This is it.
Yes.
It's all over. Was Ari?
That was a strong one. He wasn't getting off that, was he?
Well, it's one of the things, isn't it? They're both looking for the same technique. Just depends on who gets in first.
Yeah, and again. Yeah, he had the beating of him, did Vahaviak. Nabil Salah finding life that little bit too difficult to handle against the Belarusian Alexander Vahaviak. What have we got coming up next then? The repechage contest between Anastasia Turchin and Clara Apoteca. And then we've got a semi-final up on mat number 1. Let's go up to mat number 1. We're going to see the semi-final between Elkan Mamadov of Azerbaijan. He faces Zlatko Kumric of Croatia. Mamadov in the white judogi, Kumric in blue. I would hand you over to Neil, but he's just had a mouthful of chewy sweets, so I think I'll hang on.
Refreshment.
he's
Refreshment.
recharged his batteries there. We've got one of our colleagues he carries around massive bags of sweets. And we're delighted. I mean,
Yeah, absolutely.
all sorts of stuff that he has on that table over there. We over there every other minute, raiding his stash.
it'll be interesting now just to see in this semi-final with Mammadov just which Mammadov turns up. That's the important thing. It's a huge thrower. He is massive. If it goes into the second part of the contest, is totally different. But
I know which one Kumrich is hoping for.
yeah, no, exactly. But it's so easy with his first round match here, and now semi-final. Which way is he going to go? Tries for an Oguruma. Kumrich feels the danger there. He's got great change of direction as well. He changes sometimes forward technique, and then the Yoko Satemi. He's going to score with that. That's a Yuko. So certainly a different Mammadov turned up for this event. Looks a lot sharper than I've seen him for a little while, actually. Of course, he was world champion at minus 90 kilograms. Hasn't quite reached the dizzy heights of world champion since. He's struggled a little bit with the form. Just one score on the board. Something's going to happen now. Looking for the Kosoto. And Kumrich just feels it. I thought 2 feet went out there. And it's Kumrich this time looking for the Kosoto. You better be absolutely certain when he starts to do that stuff, especially with this man here, Mammadov. Start exchanging blows, and it can work against you. Well, again, he's walked out. Got to be a Shido this time, surely. Have to give it. So a Shido now to Kumrich. Well, he hasn't done anything positive, Kumrich. Oh, he has now. That was a nice one. Bit of a shock to the system there for Mammadov. Oh, great change of direction there. Kumrich just tries the Kosoto and now starting to get on top of this match. It's gone over halfway, so we might just see a different Mammadov here. Certainly he's starting to climb on top. Oh, beautiful counter. It's got to be as it was. Ari scored. And straight into the offside commi here. Kumrich just pulls him out of the offside commi and just turns out, makes that look easy. 1 minute 50 seconds left, and Mammadov looks like he hasn't got a lot left. Well, we certainly see him struggling from a conditioning point of view quite a lot. Kumrich not giving up on this. Is he going to switch it? Oh, Mammadov. Good fight this, because Kumrich really giving it his all. He's not giving up on it, and he's just coming forwards all the time. I'm just saying, Sheldon, that Mammadov just different in the second half of the contest. He always struggles a little bit with his conditioning.
Yeah, and he looks as though he's carrying a bit of a knock to the left shin. He's been down there and rubbed that a few times. Whether that's just to slow the process down.
I think it might be to slow the process down here. Coming up to the last minute. Can he hold on? Was Ari and Ayuko up?
I don't know if you've had a chance to see that replay of the action that took place on the far side, for which they gave Wazari, and with the replay, the second time you see it, yeah, Wazari. It's a roll, and he's not flat on his back. It's not flat on his back, and he rolls him.
Well, it's certainly got to be the difference between Ippon and Wazari.
Picks up a penalty here for that overly defensive posture.
We're still going to see an Ippon here. I just get a feeling that something's going to happen. Big, that arm round the back, and Kumrich needs to get out of there. He doesn't need to be round there. Yeah, he's already been turned, hasn't he? So still coming forwards, 22 seconds left of this semi-final. It's closer than it should be here. Kumrich just piling on the pressure. Mammadov holding on. You'll be glad to hear that bell, that's for sure. Going to be another penalty up there for Mammadov. Mammadov hasn't done anything. So Kumrich does well there, but Mammadov just did enough. Two big scores. Definitely struggling, wasn't he, in that latter part of the contest? So Mammadov gets it. He goes through to the final in the minus 100 kilos category. And of course, who's going to be there with him? It's going to be either Dvabi or it's going to be Korea of Brazil.
Next fight on Saturday 1, the repechage for men over 100 kilograms. In white for Brazil, Silva. And in blue for the Czech Republic, Michal Bora.
So next we have Silva of Brazil. And here he is up against Horek of Czech Republic in the plus 100 kilograms category. We'll stay here.
I know you've done the most beautiful introduction of
Yes.
that repechage contest, but I have to tell you that there's a semi-final on that too.
Let's go to the semis.
And there are two really good fighters down there. Madeleine Malonga of France faces Anna Maria Wagner of Germany. It's Malonga in the white judogi, Wagner in blue.
So very gracefully moved on.
Sorry about that. These are the future. These two are the future in the under 78 kilo category. Anna Maria Wagner is just teenager, I think, still. Madeline Malonga can only be 20 or so. So, and with people moving out, getting older, losing form, all sorts of stuff, and that long period that we're talking about.
Well, it is going to be a long
Yeah.
period, isn't it? It is a long old 4 years, but it does go remarkably quickly. And also, the difference that you notice as well, just a year, 12 months can make a massive amount of difference. Certainly when they've broken the glass ceiling, as we say. So they start to win at this level, and then they get used to it, of course. It's almost a modelling pose.
She always
isn't it?
does that.
Yeah.
I've absolutely no understanding as to why she stands like that, but she always does it.
As long as she doesn't do it when she's doing the judo.
22, Malonga is. Christmas Day, she was born on. 25th of December.
Well, just one penalty in it. Malonga has the penalty. She's the one that's going to have to come forwards here. Tactics in the last minute. Let's see how it kind of plays out. Well, I'm kind of glad that some of the people up in the crowd there are not refereeing. Obviously looking at different matches than we're watching, but so Malonga in there with the Ochi first of all, turning it into the Uchimata. They're both looking for the same kind of thing, actually, aren't they? They're both very right-handed, very one-sided. So a Shido, second Shido. In fact, that's a third one up there to Malonga. And Wagner she's just playing this perfectly. Oh, and Osoto there almost catches it, doesn't she? Malonga almost paid a big price there.
The semi-final for men over 100 kilograms. The white for Romania, Daniel Napea. And in blue for Russia.
19 seconds left, and Malonga now has to get a big score. She needs something on the board. Tries the Ouchi. Wagner just manages to block out. There's the Ouchi again. Wagner now in defensive mode, and 5 seconds to go, and then she's going to be in the final. Wagner. Well, we will just go from here, if at all possible, just over to mat 1, because we have Daniel Natia of Romania against Suslan Bostonov of Russia. And it is a semi-final match in the plus 100 kilograms category. I'm not sure whether we can do it yet. We're going to try. So here we go, we just switched over, and Natia and Bostonov here just head to head. Both big throwers, both threw well in the quarterfinals. One of these is going to go, I feel sure about it. Big right arm over there for the Kosoto, should I say, sorry.
Neil's going to take a close look at Daniel Natia and Zoslan Bostanov. I'm going to keep an eye on Kubra Kara of Turkey and Yelisaveta Kalanina of Ukraine. down on mat 2. I'll keep you informed, Neil, as to how they're going. I know you're waited with bated breath for that one.
Bated breath. Big arm over the back there from Bostonov, and Bostonov looking for the Uchimata, but he also looking for that Kosoto. He kind of climbs on top of the Kosoto. But Natia as well, he has that Oguruma. He's got the grip. One Shido apiece here, coming up to the 3-minute mark, but I just get the feeling somebody's going to go for an ippon. Oh, and look at that. Uchimata. Uchimata and Daniel Natia goes through to the final. Did I say that at the right time, or did I did, didn't I?
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
I just get the feeling that someone's going to go for a ippon. Oh, and there he goes.
Well, he kind of led into it for the first time, and then the second one there hooks in for the Ouchi, and then the support leg just moves it over, drives off it. Beautiful. That big arm round the back kind of gave it away, didn't it? It really did. Ouchi, Uchimata, and the drive.
Yeah, that big arm that Neil's talking about round the back, if that had been in there, there would have been chance to block. But he just opens himself up, doesn't he?
Yeah, he did. Bostonov was looking for the Kosoto, but it was made actually for an ippon, that whole match.
Now we can move over to mat number 2 to have a look at contest in the plus 78 kilo category, a repechage contest between Kubra Kara of Turkey in the white judogi and Yelisaveta Kalanina of Ukraine in blue. There's a single Shido on the board. It's against Kubra Kara, and there are 2 minutes left to go. The taller of the two fighters, Yelisaveta Kalanina, about whom we were discussing this morning.
Yeah, she just hasn't got the snap, and I think a lot of technical work with her would be very, very useful. Almost scored a Yuko there, but again, basic kumakata.
I'm not that sure that she needs a great deal of competition time or as much time in the middle as they're giving her. Back in the dojo, breaking things down, looking at where she's making errors, and an incredible amount of uchikomi and
you can make a massive difference
and
with
some
good technical input.
Yeah, because there are so many technical failings. There is, Neil just mentioned the word the snap. With every attack, there's no. You're not going to get surprised, are you? People talk about, it was telegraphed. You saw it coming.
The thing is, as well, it all starts with the kumakata, and the kumakata is very, very weak here. So she has it.
It looks laboured,
yeah,
doesn't it?
It does. When she comes in, she lets go very, very easily. Saying that, Kara just doing a running. She's running away and lucky to get away with not being shidoed there.
I think another thing that I've noticed is the fitness level. For me, this is an athlete who could do some work on some conditioning, so that when you see 1 or 2 minutes, she's not just flagging at 1 or 2 minutes, because a lot of the heavyweights do struggle after 1 or 2 minutes. You must get your fighter, and look at a physique. I think would take on that kind of fitness.
Another situation there, wasn't it? Just no pull on the sleeve, and it would have scored for sure. So well on top in this. Kara can't do anything about it, and that's going to be a score. Wazari scored. And almost, it was a mistake from Kara rather than Kalanina. Taking advantage of, it's no also Komi, you have to get your leg out.
Well, she's decided that as there's a lead on there, she's not even going to attempt to continue with the onside come. She was fairly happy to have the leg trap so she can get off the mat and get her breath back.
Well, Kalinina will be fighting for third place now. But long way to go.
Yeah, we've still got a few contests to come. They finished off pretty quickly on mat number 1, didn't they?
Yeah, it's funny how one particular mat can go just that much quicker, and just a lot more ippons, of course.
Women over 78 kilograms. In white for Brazil, Maria Suelen Alteman.
Right, coming up next, Maria Suelen Alteman of Brazil is up against Marina Slutskaya of Belarus. It's Alteman in the white judogi, Slutskaya in blue. We've got Maidov and Klamert, Pleasure, Anis Conrad, Joachim Devabi and Luciano Correa. To come, David Mura and Nabil Salah, and then Anton Brachev and Alexander Vachaviak. Have we already seen the contest with Caroline Weiss then? Has she been on already, or is that not yet on our...
I don't think it's on there.
On our
yet.
radar, yeah.
No. So there is plenty, isn't there, on this particular mat?
Yeah, we're going to be here for another hour, I think. Yeah, Caroline Weiss, semi-final against Santa Pacanita. No, Weiss has already won that. She's in the final. We missed that one. I didn't see it.
Well, here we have then. Alphamum has got to be the other possibility here. One of the most certainly consistent in the heavyweight division.
Yes.
A nice technique. When she decides to attack, she's got lovely technique. She's still got hold of that sleeve there. Slutskaya just managing to avoid it. Slutskaya, though, has had a good run of late, hasn't she? She's been up there around about almost every tournament. Now we're going for the shimiwaza here. I think she is. If she gets hold of the sleeve, so did Jimmy here. And she's gone across there, Alphamum. She's going to get this shimiwaza. Watch out for it. Here we go. No way out now. Absolutely no way out. And she's going to go unconscious if she's not careful.
She's had to tap out, yeah. You don't often see that, do you?
No, you don't. And it was just for everybody to see there. So, of course, the referee lets it go. Yeah. And she had to submit in the end.
Little devil.
So did Jimmy, or slippery snake. It's my dear friend Chris Bowles, if you're listening to this, right, because I saw Chris Bowles doing the slippery snake so many times. He says, has it got a name? That's what he said.
Slippery snake.
That's what he called it.
Right, coming onto the mat now, Nemanja Maidov of Serbia faces David Klamert of the Czech Republic. Maidov in the white judogi, Klamert in blue. Gives him the old aircraft wings welcome. What's that about?
You're going to say you wouldn't want Chris Bowles' hands coming across your neck either. Oh! Sotomayor there from Klamert. Close as well. Hit the right across. This is Repashot in the under 90 kilograms, the winner of this.
Yeah, we did see Caroline Weiss because she had a bye. There's only a small category. She had a bye into the semi-final. She won a semi-final by ippon, and that was it. So we're only going to see her once more. It's just unfortunate, that they don't have
more of the plus 78s here.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. That's the way it worked out.
Well, really backing him up towards the edge there. and you've got to stay within it. And it gets him a Shido for stepping out. Clement just needs to make sure he turns a meter in. Extreme right to right. So big right arm over the top here from Majov. Looking for the same technique, same kind of thing, just over that big attacking right leg. It's going to be a second penalty up there for Clement.
Yeah, Anton Brachev and Alexander Vakaviev will be the last contest in this first part of the day. 2 o'clock. We might be out by 1:30, depending on how quickly Joachim Devabi sorts out Luciano Correa.
You're hoping, aren't you?
Well, that could push things along. I know Lars is. He's got his fingers crossed at home. He's ready to celebrate, isn't he?
We're certainly having a good run of it. Sotomayor again there from Clement. To double lapel. Turn. Is he going to go the other way? Oh, nice one. Nice turn. Now just got to get that leg out. And the leg comes out.
Oops.
Just didn't quite settle in there. It was very, very close there. Good bit of no-was of that, because he came back up and he went again with it. Minute 30 left. 2 penalties up to Clement. Wow, talk about extreme right to right. They're both tempted to have a little pop at that front leg there. It will be a mistake. Good old hard match this. Switching to the left this time. He's a little bit desperate now. 40 seconds left. Last effort here from Clement. 15 seconds. One more penalty would even it all up, then it would change. Well, he had to go for it, didn't he? Sumagaeshi there. 2 seconds left on the clock. Well, that was a good match.
Might have just doing enough to maintain that advantage. 2 penalties picked up by Clamet. Might have just escaping with one. He takes the contest, and it'll be in the fights for the bronze medal. Right, coming up next, Axel Clerget of France faces Hannes Conrad of Germany. It's Clerget in the white judogi and Conrad in blue. Conrad will do well to threaten Clerget, to be honest.
Well, I like Clerget. He's like you said, he's a very solid fighter, and he has that bit of aggression, doesn't he, in him? That hardness, that he is a tough boy.
He was qualified for the games in Rio. They had someone else that they decided to send instead, but when he was asked about the prospects for going, he said, "I'm sure the French will make a decision based on who they feel is best and most likely to win a medal, and whoever it is, I'm happy who goes."
Is that what he said?
It was really, really good. Yeah. It wasn't scripted or anything. That was when he came off the mat and he was asked about the he knew he wasn't going to go, so he wanted to be as diplomatic because he did a good job.
Yeah, not always easy. When you're disappointed as well that you haven't made the Olympic team.
He made a really good run for it right at the end, though. He closed in on the qualification points level, got into it, and then was working his way up.
Somebody's going to go over here with this reverse. See the reverse Kessa.
Just got to free the leg.
Well, they're both looking for the same thing, actually. Just depends on. Yeah. Maybe not. I think that was.
See, Alexander Idir was 13. Axel Clerget was 15.
Yeah, well, Idir, of course, were one of the most stylish and big throwers of the category. I thought I had him for an outside, kind of half a chance for a medal.
Yeah. I don't think there was... it wasn't a controversial pick at all. I think the more controversial pick would have been had they decided to go with Clerget. Raised a few eyebrows. Clerget had a good bit. Did Idir.
Or in the plus 100, if they'd have gone for Zallar instead of Teddy Riner, that would have been a bit controversial, wouldn't it?
I think they'd have raised a few eyebrows. There's been a couple of questions there, yeah. Who? Nabil has got the nod over Teddy.
Yeah.
But he did give it a good go, did Alexander Idir. He beat Cyril Grossklaus in the first. Well, he had a bye in the first round. He beat Cyril Grossklaus in the second round. Colton Brown of the United States of America in round 3. The quarter-final, he lost out to the eventual gold medalist Baker Mashu. And then in the repechage contest, he lost out to Marcus Niemann of Sweden. So that's how that one panned out for Idir. Single Shido against Clerget, but there's a little over 2 minutes left on the clock. I think there's still time for things to develop in this one.
Yeah, this is a hard-fought match, isn't it? It really is. Strong fight for grips. Big arm over the back. It's got to go in straight away. Non-stop. Conrad just looks a little bit worse for wear. So there he gets the Shido. Yeah, it was clever fighting, wasn't it, from Clerget? Just piled him under, put him under pressure.
Just knew when to change gears, didn't he? And that was only 20 seconds ago that we were looking at it and saying, oh, this could be this. But there was half a minute. There's sufficient enough time for things to change around here, and they did. So, both fighters have picked up a Judo apiece, and there's a minute and 20 left to go.
Well, it depends on, I think, who wants this most now. One mistake. Oh, nice Ouchi there, drawing Ouchi Gary, and that's it. That was the mistake that we were talking about, right into the Kazure Kesa. You're not going to let go of that, I don't think.
He's back into his favourite position, isn't he?
Yeah, just quick look up at the clock there, and well, that is very stable, isn't it? That Kesagatame.
His legs are.
I suspect there was a little tiny bit of power going into that.
Hannes Conrad is breathing heavily, and it's not from the throw.
I think it was his eyeballs actually starting to pop out of his head that gave it away.
He put the squeeze on, didn't he, Clerget? He's a class act.
So into the final there for Clerget.
He was coaching the boy from Cameroon who grabbed his leg.
Yeah, what was that about?
Well, he just didn't understand it. And on the way out, Clerget had stopped off to help him and explain to him what he'd done wrong. He was there
I didn't realise that was what he was doing.
Oh, that was so nice of him. You know, most people have been back in the warm-up area, but he was there helping him out. Right. Lars, sit back and enjoy this one then, pal, because here comes Joachim Devabi up at 100 kilos. It's the semi-final between Devabi in the white judogi and Luciano Correa of Brazil in blue. Two more contests after that. We talked about Nabil Zala. He'll be up next. You can't wait for that one. Little Tomoenagi effort from Devabi that Korea partly spins out of, and he's helped in that spinning movement by Devabi trying to follow him. In the end, he really wasn't under any threat there.
I think it's going to be too much for him here. Devabi is going to be too much for Korea. I think Korea just loses the focus and just hasn't got the power or the condition to go the full 5 minutes. And certainly I think he'll feel, because it was huge. I was right next to him actually, Devabi. He's a big guy, strong guy. Out for Sweden.
He may be more comfortable up at 100. It's a question of how long it takes the fighter to settle.
Yeah, always the problem, isn't it? It's got to make sure you get once right, both in training and competition. So both negative with the grips here. Cheech. Yoko Tosh, nice one that. Started off with the Kosoto. Trying for the Sangaku now, he just might go over there. Yeah, just slipped it. He's going to go again on it. So hanging on, Korea. Well, I wonder whether Korea is thinking about the next 4 years. I mean, it certainly looked to me as if he was really jaded coming up to the end of the qualification for Rio de Janeiro. So it'll be interesting. It looks a bit fresher, got to say that today.
Maybe a year or two. I think the other thing that would help to make up his mind is what kind of threat was there as far as other fighters in the under 100 kilo category. He's already dealt with, or knows, sorry, he already knows the threat from Buzakarini, and it's one way or the other between the two of them. You know, it's not a great deal in it. So unless they come up with someone else at under 100 kilos, I think maybe he does fancy his chances of sticking around for a little bit longer. Correa picks up a second penalty, and there are a few people in the crowd who don't agree with that. I suspect that they come from Brazil.
You think?
Yeah.
Well, it's been rubbed off now, so it's still all evens.
And Dvabi's just got to be careful here, because for a moment he would have been thinking about one set of tactics to suit the fact that he was, you know, ahead as far as the Shidos were concerned, and he's got to wipe that out of his thought process and get on with the job at hand. Shido apiece, 1:20 to go.
Yeah, this is a close one, isn't it? Coming up to the last minute, don't know which way this is going to go. I just suspect that Dvabi will just keep on coming forwards here.
Who is it that's really good? Oh, it's Clergeau, who knows exactly when to step up, put in 2 or 3 attacks and draw a penalty for Correa, just to give that kind of distance.
Well, he could just get a Shido for that. He just turned in, he just dropped.
See, at the end, he didn't have to push. The first part was okay, that shaped nicely, but he needed to have some push at the end. I wasn't convinced about that attack. I wouldn't have been surprised if they'd given him a false attack for that. Here's an opportunity, however, for the turn. He doesn't have it, and Correa can't claim that either.
Yeah, it's very close, wasn't it, with the counter. Well, that's as close as we get. 30 seconds left, could possibly go in. Well, we're just thinking about a possibility of a leg grab, aren't we?
Yeah.
As part of the movement that we've already seen. But I don't think anybody saw it.
Our top man's gone over to have a look at it. He is involved in the video replays. He knows all about that circumstance.
5 seconds left, and I think it would be a little bit unfair now to intervene and to give anything.
Well, if it was one of those ones where, oh, you know, that looks close, then don't worry about it. Just leave him, let him get on with it. But if it was a clear mistake on our part,
I think they're going to let it go. Tries there. Dvabi, is he in the hold?
Got to trap the leg here.
Certainly Korea fighting better than I've seen him for a long time.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, just he looks very confident and also trying very, very hard to win this match. I mean, it'll be a first final he's been in for a little while. No, it will be. I mean, the thing is that they go off the boil a little bit and you get out the habit, don't you? So, I mean, just to get into a final again at this stage of his career, that could just possibly be a Shido. Is he going to give it? He's
struggling, yeah.
Well, Dvabi definitely thinks that he's thrown it away there by walking outside of the area. Angry with himself. Dvabi was saying that Korea pushed him out, But it was Dvabi that was actually bad on the edge, I have to say. So Dvabi accepts it, not happy about it. Of course he's not, but so Korea goes through.
Coming up next, David Moura of Brazil will face Nabil Zala of France. It's Moura in the white judogi, Zala in blue. And then we'll follow that with a semi-final.
Uchimata from Moura, and it's all over. Well, as soon as he got hold there, David Moura, he was set for the Uchimata. He's got a beautiful Uchimata when he puts it in, and he needs to put it in more often because then things like that happen. Zala straight over the top there. David Moura, beautiful. Look at this Uchimata here. Just hops there. Support leg central, and he knew he was going to get it there. Yeah, a little clap at the end there. Just says, what do you think about that?
Yeah.
Double Ukemi just to finish it off.
Right, Anton Brachev of Russia will face Alexander Vakaviev of Belarus. It's Brachev in the white judogi, Vakaviev in blue.
This then the last of the semi-finals, the last match of this morning session, or afternoon, morning and afternoon session, the first one, should we say. So Brachev, still a chance for the Russians to have a finalist here in the plus 100 kilograms. Vakaviev of Belarus looking to get that big right arm around the back. So left against right. And a big Ashiwaza. That's going to be a Wazari scored. And directly into the hold down there. The Russian in trouble. And Vakaviev is ahead in this match. Just manages to turn out there, Brachev. But beautiful Ashiwaza. What a lovely Sasai. Well, it's been changed to ippon, and it's all over. That's Sasai Tsukumiyash. Let's have a little look at it.
Oh, nice change.
Well, was it his up? More like a his up, wasn't it? But Sasai to his up. Certainly mixture of the two, maybe.
We would like to inform you that we start with the final block of 5.
I think Sasai, and straight into the hold. Was it ippon, you think? Anyway.
It's nice, wasn't it? Good reaction.
It was very nice reaction. It really was.
From a big fella. One more look at this. So it's Bakaviak that we're gonna see in there.
It certainly is. Yeah.
Right. Any picks for you? Mammadov looked.
I think Mammadov minus 100 kilograms.
Weiss we only saw once. Altman we only saw once, really.
Well, it could be either of those. They're both very consistent heavyweights, and I think both around about the same stamp, really.
It'll be interesting to see how Weiss copes against Altman. Altman has had that bit more experience. I think she's going to be a little bit more confident. Weiss struggles a little bit with self-confidence, self-belief. So it'll be interesting if Basinski can really gear up and get her ready for this final. It'll be a terrific thing for a Grand Slam final.
Natia? Natia.
Thrown a few people, hasn't he?
Yeah,
today?
I think him for sure. Plus 100 kilograms.
Husha and Anna Maria.
Wagner, that's going to be a good one. About the same stamp again. You know, so we've got two of them, two good athletes.
That's
and
the pick of the
two
day.
good judoka. And here, well, Kukolj and
number one and
Clerget.
number two.
Yeah,
they're going to go head to head.
Yeah. So great stuff. We're looking forward to some great finals.
We've got 2.5 hours today for our rate. We look forward to your company then, but from Neil and myself, it's bye-bye for now.
Bye for now.